Right, I'm with first team manager Darren Salmon. Some of you may remember him from some of the earlier interviews in the season, but he's gone missing for a little while. But kindly he's agreed to come back in and do another one today. So, a 3-0 win, Des. What were your overall thoughts on the game?
Obviously, at this stage of the season, we keep talking about one game at a time, and today, getting a result against a possibly rejuvenated Godalming side was the most important thing when we set out today. We didn't really know what to expect. We knew that they'd retained some players, brought in some additional players on dual registration, and it's always a bit of a turning point, or often a turning point for a team when they bring in new management and new personnel. So today, I think first and foremost was about getting the points on the board.
I think it's safe to say that first half performance was probably up amongst the best that we've played this season. I mean, at times we were just pinging the ball one touch, playing it round them, which we haven't done for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Conditions, we anticipated today some difficult conditions. I think we've emphasised to the lads before the start of the game that the wind was probably going to be a factor, and should we find ourselves playing into the wind, it was essential that we were quite mean with the ball, kept the ball well, moved the ball well. And the lads really went out there and did exactly what we asked them to do in the first half, and deservedly came in with a 2-goal advantage.
Yeah, and you look at those 2 goals. First one by Fernandez, that was a lovely ball by Darryl, and a great little finish over the keeper. And then Darryl's hard work by Matty Auletta wins the ball.
Yeah,
it's just lashed it home. I mean, you've got to be happy when your forwards are doing things like that.
Yeah, I said to Danny afterwards, you look at, we could harp on today about missed opportunities and stuff, but I think that for me, the fact that the guys the 2 front lads have come off with a goal apiece in the first half is a good return. Most games you'd be pleased with that, and it certainly set us into a nice position to go into the second half where we thought, we could change the game a little bit.
Yeah, the second half performance wasn't great, it has to be said. Obviously we missed a fair few chances, but it was just it was quite low key. I think the intensity that we had in the first half was missing. Do you agree?
Yeah, do you know what? You never play two halves alike. I think that's that's half the problem at this level of football. I think players, if they're not on top, they want to come out and try and turn it around. If they've had a good half where they've perhaps controlled a lot of it, it's difficult to keep the momentum going. Maybe we gave the conditions today too much credibility. Maybe we, considered that too much in terms of the difference that it would make in the second half. And I think the lads tried to change the style a little bit in the second half. We looked a little bit disjointed and allowed them to just have a little influence on the game. I don't think we ever really looked massively in trouble, but at 2-0, you think, a goal, if we concede a goal at that stage, it's a different finish to the game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with 15 to go, you're quite comfortable. There's a little bit of a scramble, there's a shot goes wide, and you think that goes in, and all of a sudden it's backs to the wall, all hands to the pump, and from winning a game that we should have comfortably won, we're then hanging on a little bit.
Without a doubt, yeah. They're nervous. They're nervous moments. Probably edgier for us sitting out here that can't impact it. You're looking at it thinking, we had 3 or 4 chances that you would expect players of this experience and calibre to have converted, and they're frustrated because they know, they're not looking to escape it. Even the lads that have scored today probably should have returned a few more. But it's hard to be critical. Like I said, we asked for a performance today. I think for 50-60 minutes we had it. The rest of it wasn't pretty, but it's 3-0. We've come off with a clean sheet, and Michael's again had another good game in the sticks for us defensively. The boys haven't really been massively troubled. We got ourselves in a little bit of a pickle at the end, I think, but it was relatively comfortable today, which in the end is pleasing. And you're looking at the bigger picture, which say clean sheet, 3 points.
Yep, exactly. Especially when you look today, some of the players you had missing. I mean, there was no Matt Ferdinando, who's a bit of a driving force in the middle of the park. There's no Owen, which means obviously Boggs has to go in at right back. In at centre back. Do we know how the fitness is with some of those lads?
Yeah, do you know what? 1 or 2 of them hopefully are only a week or 2 away now. But we were. Listen, I think everyone's suffering with a few injuries and the suspension and stuff. We had to put a squad together that was capable of sustaining that. That's the difficulty of managing those players when everyone's available, managing expectations and sometimes a lack of minutes for players. But the flip side is when you find yourself maybe with 5 out that we would have looked at today and thought any one of those 5, are starters. The lads that have stepped in have done well, and they're keeping things ticking over. So, we've missed some key players. On paper, you'd assume that they'd make us far more vulnerable than they've turned out to be. But one game at a time. We've now got the next one coming up. We know that we're going to miss Matt Farrell. He's got now a 1-match suspension in the next one for topping up. Frustrating with the lads that have picked those up, Ferdy and Faz, because a few of those have been from misconduct, in terms of dissent, and it changed. It means we're forced to make a change. But the lads that have come in have done well and have got to continue to do so.
That's very true. We move on, as you say. Next game is Saturday, away at AFC Hayes, which would be tough, and then we follow that up with the Monday night fixture against Nap Hill. So 2 in 3 days, which we are quite used to now down here, but it always puts a little bit of a strain on the squad, especially if you get players who are carrying injuries or maybe get a little niggle on the Saturday. You're always looking, will they be fit for the Monday?
Absolutely. I think for us, we'll look at it that we've got a week off in the lead up to it, so we've got opportunity to get the lads in maybe at least once, but perhaps twice. Treat the guys that need a bit of treatment. Hopefully, see if they're in the mix for Saturday. If not, then some of those will certainly be in contention for Monday. As you sort of mentioned, Gal, we kind of do this now. The Saturdays and Mondays, used to be a bit of a curse to us, but I think again it tests the squad a little bit. It will no doubt force a few changes, but the lads also that are in the sidelines know that there's a little window of opportunity there for them.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dal. It was a pleasing win, and we move on.
Nice to be back. Thanks, Gary.